bingo, Bob Monkhouse, a quiz show. What an exciting episode we have in store today, eh? I'm sure this one will top 100 views within the hour. Yes, sirree. A quick look first, though, at the show that inspired this incredible gaming concept that will no doubt be getting a 4K remake as a PlayStation 5 launch title. You'll see every pore on Monkhouse's leathery epidermis, so you will. Bob Monkhouse was a very well-known, in the UK at least, entertainer and comedian. A hugely talented and incredibly funny comic, Monkhouse started his career at school, writing for the Beano and the Dandy. I mean, while I was at school, I was trying to avoid dripping PVA glue on my crutch area, lest I be bullied for ejaculating in my pants. Which I hadn't done, it was glue, I swear it to this day. After a stint in the Royal Air Force, Bob swizzed his way into a BBC contract by getting his superior officer to pretend that he was a World War II hero. From here, Bob Monkhouse combined his screenwriting and his radio presenting with a stage career. Monkhouse then starred in the very first Carry On movie, Carry On Sergeant, and he later regretted jumping ship to another movie franchise because, after all, who remembers that one about the dentist? No one does, but everyone remembers Carry On. They kept on going, they carried on, if you will. And if you don't, well, ooh, matron, or whatever he says. But it was his quick wit and his easy charm that gave Bob Monkhouse his biggest successes, that being as a game show host. Monkhouse worked well with the great unwashed, that charismatic crowd of polyester-clad folk, hopeful of winning a washing machine or a holiday to Barbados. He was a master of comic timing, a god of one-liners. I want to die like my father, peacefully in his sleep, not screaming and terrified like his passengers, is surely one of the greatest, most timeless jokes ever. He was indeed the perfect game show host. He appeared in so many too: Golden Shot, Celebrity Squares, Family Fortunes, Bob's Your Uncle, Opportunity Knocks, Wipeout, and of course the subject of this video, Bob's Full House. Bob's Full House was a mixture of quiz show and seaside pensioner favourite bingo. Bob's Full House ran on BBC One from 1984 until January 1990. In it, 4 players were given bingo cards and they attempted to light up 15 numbers on the card by answering quiz questions. The winner of each round were each given their choice of 3 prizes, and if I talked any more about it now, I'd ruin the video game description, as is the nature of quiz shows on the spectrum. There's not a great deal to talk about already, so I'm going to cut it there and then we'll get to the game. Bob's Full House was released for just £8 in 1988 by TV Games and Domark, after it was developed by Binary Design. The presentation of Bob's Full House, the game, is simple, yet very crisp. Bob's disembodied Max Headroom style head hovers there like a general knowledge sentinel, his weird asymmetrical face judging you for not knowing that the Tornadoes hit single was Telstar. Bob knows, and to punish you, he will appear on your ceiling when you go to bed, and you'll never, ever sleep again because he'll just be there, staring at you and judging, and yes, he'll get you. Oh, he'll get you all right. Why were you an idiot? Why couldn't you have known the answer to those questions? You fool, you deserve this. The other graphics, which there aren't really a lot of, represent that of the guests and their individual bingo cards represented there in front of them on the desk. We can all see what you're doing. So who do these people look like? Well, 1 looks like Jimmy Somerville's put on a bit of weight. 2 looks like Sharon from EastEnders. 3 is a grey alien who has, to blend in, purchased an Olive from On the Bus's costume from a Smithy clearance sale. Because after all, who really is going to a fancy dress party as Olive from On the Buses, even in 1988? And player 4 is obviously a stick insect pretending to be an MP for Dorset. Yes, it's Jacob Rees-Mogg. These characters are all fully playable, so there's no need to wait for Bob's Full House Championship Edition, or indeed any DLC for it, and they can be steered by 4 players at the same time for multiplayer larks. Each player is given a corner of the keyboard each as a buzzer key, and that works really well actually. When you hit the buzzer, you're given about 15 seconds to type in your answer. Spell it right, the Spectrum is an absolute spelling Nazi. And if you effed up, well, you are wallied, which is the harsh punishment floating Monkhouse noggin doles out to simpletons like you. Fear not, it's not a soap-dropping punishment buggery moment or a month's isolation on the moon of Charon. You're merely just locked out of the next question. Wallying doesn't sound so bad now, does it? Round 1, and you all must race to be the first to light up the 4 corners of your board by buzzing in and answering correctly a general knowledge question. I won, and I just so happened to choose those nice little set of pans there. I'll be cooking up a treat with them. Sweet corn and loneliness. Round 2 is identical, except you have to light up the middle row. However, this time the different numbers represent different subject categories. Round 3, and we're at the eponymous Full House, where you're charged with lighting up all the unlit squares you have left, with obviously fortune favouring those who have already won previous rounds. Don't give up, Jacob Rees-Mogg or Olive from On the Buses, you've still got this. No, you haven't. The winner of this one, well, they march on to the final round. Bob's Golden Card, which gives you the chance to win a dream holiday. Imagine that. You have to answer as many questions as you can in 60 seconds. This is pretty tough. You can pass by typing pass, but I didn't know that at the time, so I look feeble. The idea is that you must uncover as many letters on the card as possible to spell out the name of your dream holiday destination. I was just awful, and if Severed Monkhouse Head wants to suck my soul up through his flared nostrils, well, go ahead, son, suck out my life essence. I've given up. I am ashamed I was so bad at this round. Of all the quiz games I've played so far, I reckon Bob's Full House was my favourite. It's quick, it's punchy, the control buzzer layout makes sense, and it's an intuitive concept and easy to get into and easy to get to grips with as well. I didn't get a headache trying to work out what the hell was going on, like I did with Treasure Hunt or the Krypton Factor. The downsides are, it's a quiz game, and therefore it's incredibly limited in terms of its longevity. And, well, the main problem is really that the same questions appear rather too quickly. This might be because the nature of the quiz itself can be that there are many questions asked in each round, and the Spectrum's memory is too limited to handle that many. So you might find the same question coming up more than once, as if Bob has got some sort of Alzheimer's and he's forgotten that he's already asked the question. That said, this is my favourite quiz game played so far. I liked it. Please take pity on me, Bobhead, my dark overlord. Crash Magazine, they gave it a lowly score of 48%, stating that Bob's Full House is great as a television programme and had potential as a computer game, but the lack of questions really lets it down. Fair enough. Yours, Sinclair? Well, they were a bit closer to my opinion, calling it a surprisingly entertaining and challenging computer version of the TV quiz show. Not perhaps a long laster, but great fun in multiplayer mode, and they gave it an 80 degrees. So, that's a completed review, or should I say, bingo. Before I go though, can I make special mention of this disclaimer in the instructions? Please note that the prizes are only to make the game more realistic and true to the TV show. You cannot really win prizes. I mean, is this legal? I was expecting those pans. How am I supposed to cook my dinner, Domark? You swines, you have stolen my prize! Okay. Well, screw you. Anyway, okay, thanks, bye!